And that is the number one priority, how to stabilize the economy, stabilize the currency, bring inflation down, restore economic growth.
We do not have any micro minority. The minority caucus protests.
I was called to come to the EC office. I, the PO, Nathaniel, didn't confirm the pink sheet to the returning officer.
So after His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, President of Ghana, or starting a Jumano, and Sembebre in a free papanasia air bar. Sisiamino Kase, Wakako Komobi, Afa economy no ho, Ama World Bank, Wama or my say, Amubaba Bois or my Ghana, now for economy at Atia Pansamno, Ama Poena Feno or my Ghana, Yanso Efa and Tomapa Efra, quick one, Ebe room and Ochi, Unim say Ablekuma no. Wamunyanya MP na ehonso enseme fi obana sewani ensesa me ena me kacho ena fe no NPP amanyekuo no ene Afenyo Markin ense dipadodo na hu video na omede warning kese eko ede ama omai Ghana nyina se wamunya micro minority na mom no ye from minority quick one ebe rom na fe no yaye hu adwuma ena fe NPP fo no so ense woma start sake womu members ni bi ama akwatwetwe nsembepre ababaran yebeko na fe no His Excellency John Dramani Mahama,
of course,
President of Ghana, yes yakoko tiensema odi tuda ebra ense oshia World Bank na commander Nkomodia Koso Komodia Koso pa
nyasem ketwa
na minimse after Nkomona chino what gather info bebra odini nyina eba,
of course,
yes indeed yanko na fe no yanko tie His Excellency John Dramani Mahama we no na brofu nyina te ho,
of course,
yes quick one yanko na eba minimse Nkomodie bebre ewachi.
Some of the areas I think we want to look, of course, the economy is stupid, and and that is the number one priority, how to stabilize the economy, stabilize the currency, bring inflation down, and restore economic growth. In the last quarter, there was supposed to be a growth of 7%, and the government has been making so much about it. But I think that we're looking for sustainable growth, not a one-off quarterly growth. We want to make sure that that growth is sustainable. And so what kinds of systems we put in place to make sure that we're able to sustain the growth, bring down inflation, stabilize the currency are the most important things that we want to look at. But beyond that, in order to be able to achieve that, we must not look only at the macro, we must also look at the micro. For instance, issues to do with taxation are an important issue because of the IMF program and the targets, revenue to GDP targets. The government has kept imposing new taxes, mostly indirect taxes. We must hit the nail on the head and look at the more difficult issue of bringing more of the informal sector into the tax net. I'm sure there are best practices all over the world where the informal sector is incentivized to come into the tax net and contribute its part to revenue. I always give the example of artisans who come to work in my house. I think I've mentioned it to Robert and Michelle before. And they charge me huge sums of money. They are repainting my house because I had won the election, and so they came to repaint my house. And when they brought the invoice, it was for 5,000 and something thousand and something. But he's not going to pay any tax on it. So how do we get people like this to come into the tax net? I'm sure that there are ideas that we will work with in future. But two other pillars that generate non-tax revenue are the cocoa industry and then the oil and gas sector. Unfortunately, this government has not been able to add one single drop of oil or gas, cubic meter of gas, to what they inherited from us. And that is for many parochial reasons. The producers in the oil and gas sector have not been happy. Some have been hounded out. He and I went to Cote d'Ivoire for many years, went and invested there and came up with the Baleine failed, and that has been at the expense of what they were doing in Ghana. You know, we tied down tallow in litigation over tax, which I thought we could have sat across the table and discussed amicably. Unfortunately, we lost the arbitration and were thrown out. And there are two other aspects of that tax issue that we need to sit with them, and if we can negotiate and agree a mutual agreement, then I think that would be the better option to take, and to encourage as many players in our oil and gas sector as possible, so that we can increase gas production, eliminate the use of crude oil in our electricity generation, and be able to earn some more money in terms of non-tax revenue, so that we can balance and stabilize the economy. The cocoa sector was doing very well. Unfortunately, I think the new management that was put in by this government has not been as good, and so we've seen a collapse in cocoa production. Part of it is due to climate change, but part of it is also that the farmers do not receive a fair price for their product, because if the farmers receive a fair price and they have a good income flow from cocoa, they're not going to sell their cocoa farm to somebody to come and cut down the trees and exploit and explore for gold. So those are all things we want to see what reforms we bring into the cocoa sector to cut the size of this humongous state enterprise called Cocoa Board that spends 3.4 billion CDs on itself every year, and the farmers go home empty-handed. And so working together with the World Bank, this is something that we would want to look at. Now, the Achilles heel of Ghana's financial and economic stability is and blow apart everything that we have achieved, you know, in the last few years. And so how we how we change the systems in the energy sector to make sure that we pay down the debt and make it more efficient than it is currently.
His Excellency,
John Dramani Mahama.
where you jumana sati?
Washa sentem papa. We die adaje eni poso.
Na ore papa ne nsema all kansua. Nse bibia dana kwamu.
Of course. Say ne nsema okin e kire se Ghana for messenger or call round no na Ghana for day banase. Because washa Ghana for message din nyina mainly e nsem na odi hu nkomoyi. Energy sector one. Ena enwachi economy the main problem na Ghana for a war. Okay. Well, after say President John Dramani Mahama Asia World Bank ono mu di nkoma e video nyina no. Ne nkomo nyina oka how obe bring it back the economy. Na economy ni aye stable. Na fei inflation nyina ne exchange rate ni nyina betumi aye kama. Na one key thing na oka ya e convince me ewo e kwan ya opeso faso ema economy ni aye stable no ase ba ko ene to makoma so pa. Ni nyina ne say obi anim say yenkwa famra ni nyina yesika. Nti at the end of the day say economy ni be stable e yesika sem. Nti na sem a oka ye say there are two main factors here. Ebetimi amanye sika. First one oil and gas. And the second one no ebesan cocoa production no. Ade we ade ba ko a ye de bo ba ko beku no mamienu. Reason ni say oil and gas ni etima produce bebre according to President John Dramani Mahama. One, fuel problems ni nyina beko. And a gas na nkase ho beto your gas no e be ma ye a lot of money. Ye sika so no beko soro. Ye nsan kwafa gas mfiri ba bi manufacture electricity until we will get everything here. Let's just say 2 in 1. And a year na on cocoa. Say the ahodi nyine cocoa ne so a. Meaning say any cocoa na ye twa any to gold no. Ye ntwa cocoa to gold because ye double your effort on cocoa trese opese onye ni sika free cocoa ho.
Now ukọ mekurasia. Womu a na say womu twa galamse ba ya. Womu tom cocoa. And it jiska because of galamseno. And it seems that omu nyina no because cocoa no cost ro kakra no. Omu say cocoa no price a bam kakra. As na nuhuaba.
In this case, you think come away say obi a obeso ye mampani esosidi bia no. Agriculture should be one of your main factors here. Would you be woman? Nti oka cocoa production ho asem say obetimi de eno ama economy no ejina ne na so no. Na e kire say cocoa kriafo na o kan no enei e wo se koko akuafo no so feeling was o make mention of that say akuafo no mum em benefit na omo ti koko board offices no omo na ediska nti say ye niam yie na akuafo ne benefit na obi abekwa kodo koko ani omo do no mbenya akade de a at the end of the day ye ton koko no wadwaman so a ye benya sika bebrebe sika bebe economy nim and ye benya sika ne bi de di dwuma e ba sa obi amfa na ni brem kwose galamse so nsuo na ase na ye complain no with few years edi anim no amanfo nyina do mani be sa agriculture so e be ye priority na galamse ni illegal mine na kofom nti e be na so ma wan hwe a yensuo na yesu a yentimi nko galamse no e be ko kire se sika ba system nim agriculture aye very effective agriculture aye akono aye fe nti obi a odini sika ko hye galamse no on fan him or be work invest in agriculture and e ba sa economy no e be very stable aduane bo be fo
yenhwa de wa say
okay
economy ade na o man Ghana ye nyina e kan wasem se Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia no nti ena kufa de kofa no baye
yeah
nti wa failure Ghana fo nyina ya adwen se yekoto abatia no now se Mahama ba na se economy ne yi a ogidi se Ghana fo ebe ginadi.
Well, on this question se Mahama etimi economy ne yi a Ghana fo be calling on Mahama ni NDC say they should continue with rule no ntwa omine so saa kopum time a omo abebre because in 2016 na eba no infrastructure dia na ebeka se John Dramani Mahama na oye infrastructure pa and aside that a lot of nyema ibroha na oye but na Ghana for unu say economy no e from e collapse and economy ne kita omai bia nti o hwe ya at the time anado eye campaign ni Dr. Mbamia no na omu main policy eye economy ni say economy na say ahokyere doso ye bobese adodo inflation ne kwosoro aduane bo ayetene nti say utumi eba na after say 8 years omu gi tumi free nsem no omantumi na utumi eye no in 4 years a month for benya trust kese wo mu and eba say legacy na obeso building no very simple building legacy na hwi
ana na amanfo unse na amanfo yesa comparison ne say from 1 city to 4 cities
of course
and from 4 cities no akufo adom de ko 17 cities and now na te ya ba 15 cities
okay
and some are okay no I think say ni nyina no correct
because from 1 city to 4 cities and at the end ba free 4 cities and as the same fan aka 15 and na do echo it say after 4 years no so one from 15 and kosoro na utime de te assign the chikakra na enuane bo ne niam bo ada bia nkrofo su no omo comparatively na wo prices no e better ma wo mo na omo hwe omo botom ye na say investors e ba omanim na omo ba be bia enwuma it tells you say Ghana for ba juice because eno na Ghana for pe ade nchema ye na nsori ma aban fa sika nkosho botom Ghana for nim sade ne da nti ba omia e hye bo bebrebe no na Ghana for expect say onyi sika mo hye omo botom but they were expecting say economy ni be papa ama oton aye beto say o de kwa mfaso be baso at the end of the day o kwa no pa na nyimre wo kofia o benya sika kofia na sika nso be son ahwe wo fia ma de bia bobra and that is what Ghanaians are expecting from John Dramani Mahama
na empanifo no ye kasa ya omote because economy ye want na ye complaining ye pa ena Mahama ba ono so se eno na ye first adia obese ohwe na bibia toto yie
ye complaining a empanifo na ti because obehwa wa abra omoye campaign mu no His Excellency John Dramani Mahama ka asem bi se o kaise Bill Clinton mo time omoye campaign no US nkomo be beto US say first priority economy number 2 economy number 3 economy number 1 to number 10 ni nyina ye economy because at the end of the day say o mine no to ho no bi beto sha wo so a usika samunya uni ahode a wo de kokko say o te ho na wo kwan tutu na woni sika untimi nye o hospital onye na woni sika untimi nye nti at the end of the day the foundation of the country is economy nti nsema na ye complaining Ghana for so adwadifo so obi esu no na aban mu mpanifo no nyina omote mpanifo no omote na mmom eduru ba bia sa adwuma no untimi a untimi nti at this stage a wonya fine opportunity say wasa ba bia ma opeso hye economy no the best na obetuma ye on double the effort ewo economic issues ho na eno eno betuma ma amanfo ba gina dibim na ni hope na oka no say oba restore hope no that is the only thing obetimi eda restore hope the main thing
yanko Ablekuma I think say business to omunyanya NP
na Ablekuma de ha adwe pa esan say obi asue in ama o ma start adwuma Ablekuma no fofo ni MP na obehwe a enche na electoral committee eba abonte se omo quality Ablekuma no seat no na fe ye declare winner na collation ni na akoba se electoral commission asa suspended Ablekuma no seat no ya omo entumi anwie na asem nwanwane asem kese a ekosi wo ho ene se presiding officer baako pink sheet and di ni signature so no o se enye ono no twereye numbers na osu nyina enye ono a figures ya obi anya aye no electoral officer ne se enye ono no twereye
na se electoral commission na dane niema
o so ma dane niema o se o hwe pink sheet ni din the signature na hye so ni din na hye so entwereye ne nye ne ntwereye numbers na o ma twere we yanya sei no enye ono no twereye sa numbers no.
Okay, producer boy na the video no to so na minim say ba enkomo wa kire pa.
I was called last Sunday to come to the EC office. We got here on Monday morning. Then I was given a pink sheet to confirm the figures on it. So I confirmed to the returning officer. The name was my name. The signature was mine. But the figures on it and the writings wasn't mine. So he probed, he asked further questions, which I answered him accordingly. But before we concluded, I told him that particular pink sheet in front of me wasn't my document. Then he said I could leave. So after we left, then we are here today to clarify that some of the pink sheets, especially mine, for Roman Catholic Church, Buzia Junction, Odoko, the PO, Nathaniel, didn't confirm the pink sheet to the returning officer on that Monday when we got here.
And somehow
na me bisa say Ablekuma no fofo atoma baby obi anya MP omuni MP na who kosam
na se we no ensem a o ka no wo hwe be doctor do
yeah bibia kire se signature na ehye so no ne dia but you no sign ye o ma doctor ade ne dia
na eno otimi ya sa
oh yeah of course yeah won krofo be bra omutumi afine ways and means through technology na o signature no o ma photocopy signature and they are shen krata so
okay
and enu bi na o me dey officer because according to nkomodie bako na ekoso ho kire se police station bi electoral officer and presiding officer no at the time o quality resource no o me dey pink sheet no be quality resource no rejected a zero
okay
officer no so kai say o mo kan aba na rejected enye zero nti wanyina ka ho bi ene mo officer ne dwene hu de o se da bi pink sheet we enye media enye me na me sign ye enye me na me twetwe because ye kan aba no rejected bem eye da ne de pink sheet aba say me mejira ho nkwan fe me say me na me kan aba we wo ho police station na afedie zero ebem na enne zero amam na na yebeduru ha zero ene she rejected
ye hwa de me hu de se answer NDC for taking over no
yeah
Mahama taking over no ana masa officer o trense musa ada na sa recollection na o koyeye ansa na so in eba so no sa we nyina nkosisi wo
yeah and me kura dem
no nyina no ko fa maako at this time officer ibeka say ase this time the o trense
mu nti
asoma me kan what you say
yeah nti de ekoso yi atwema adwen sisi say seats ni bi wo ho a omo kwa recollection ni edan ko MPP no ene omo tenase ena omo etwere figures ena omo pay electoral officers ni din ena omo de hye ho no omo pay omo signature no doctor signature no e de ehye ho ana asem ni nyina no
because we say no nkanye NDC for na take over menya sure senka papa ya ogina ho kase a wo chese figures no nyono na troy no enkonka
yeah
NPP na wo power sisi ya enkonka
ena at this stage electoral commission officers ni nyina no majority of them enya adwiri bi say aban foforo na waba no oba make a lot of changes nti e likely say especially baby a nsemba ahobia no nsesa be ko ho ama electoral officers be bro mo ho no majuma be wo mo and eno ka ho bi nti they want to make sure say as omo nsem clean ena ama o start edwuma bi say e kan nsem bi say but I want to me pese me je say sa na amanfo but in the situation any nkoma aye ba die e kire say amanfo bi afa kwati kwan so na omo atwetwe bi dia be hye ho
onim say Afenyo Markin se video no circulate na onim say Yemu bebre ho am say ye ho video no.
Okay.
I'll chem say MPP form pesa but then yenko video ni mra yensan ko habiem.
Okay.
Na minim say ye ba enkomodie bebre e wachi ama sisi am no ka say MPP for no o ma start esake wo mo members no quick one. Yenko ti Afenyo Markin semra.
I shall, in response to what you just said about your duty to protect the micro minority. Mr. Speaker, the rules of this House provide for the minority and the majority. Mr. Speaker, we do not have any micro minority. Mr. Speaker, the minority caucus hereby protests. Mr. Speaker, we protest the description given to us by Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this practice of when we are on our feet, the majority will on the mic, it's not acceptable. Mr. Speaker, it's not acceptable. We are Democrats. You put off my mic. Listen to me. Mr. Speaker, we find this unacceptable. Mr. Speaker, the minority seconded your proposal and the motion for your election. Mr. Speaker, when the so-called majority was even conspiring against you, we protested. We stopped them from that conspiracy. Mr. Speaker, it was us, the minority of conscience. This minority is the conscience of this House. Today, the so-called majority could not get its members to come to the House. 61 of you are absent. Mr. Speaker, we don't accept the description micro minority. We are minority. Simplicity. Mr. Speaker, please, kindly, Mr. Speaker, describe us as such. We are the minority. We are not micro minority. I so submit.
Honorable members, this is not subject to debate. Please, this is not subject to debate. Please. Sit down. Please. This is not subject to debate. The minority leader, on behalf of the minority caucus, has objected to my describing their caucus as micro-minority caucus, and that this is a term that is unknown to the rules of the House. He is totally right. Honorable members, I will say that he himself misled me because he himself has used the term micro-minority.
Mr. Speaker, you know, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I know you miss your days. You miss your days as a member of Parliament.
Honorable members, the objection is to the fact that it should not be formally so recognized by the records of Parliament. I agree with you. And so it should not be used by the Speaker, but it can be used by the leaders.
Afenyo Markin,
minority leader.
Obehuna mani
Obe break a crafty way, papa.
Spiritually, no. I think it's a name Han.
And say, dear, Nyama had a
also Kaza or minority wa. Spiritually, no, and Yama Han,
in your good man.
And I say, Yama Han,
of course.
It says some micro, no, so PBM.
Yeah, as I say, and say NPP as a part of many break. Was the one Moka say, ye throw more minority, our crack house on his honey throw more. Into a mum pet, sir, mini by an answer micro minority. No, a one person better. Let me just say, no, a part of businesses, any parliamentary businesses, and I know the at the end of the day, NDC betray MPP, MPP betray NDC. It is a way I say, Omo is a tree.
And I will say, no, dear, Afenyo Markin, ye froze, I say, I am one number 2 mamma. And MP for Nana, Modem Wakatum. And Tinano, say, even Yabano can say, Mise, NDC for no, yeah. Almost 61. All man ko parliament no. Yeah. Aka NDC for say o parliament.
Yeah. I'm say 63 na nko. Nti omo ye 183 independent for nka omo.
Yes.
Nti uyi 63 ni free ma eka 120.
120.
Some people for ni nyina mpo kwa 88. 120 against 88. O check gap no nko a 32.
Eno ni asem.
Independent for no ko kom ho 36. Nti ababe na mbeto o parliament a omo nipa 63 ama. Still, more than 30 votes.
Okay.
Nti say micro minority ni there. Afenyo Markin should accept. On TS say a part of politics. Omanya micro minority na bi, but just game and parliament there. Agro ho be bring we there. Both parties obi e di agro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Answer abigi je bebem baran story kitua bi ha say.
Yeah.
Na menim say ense yemu dodo na wo ho a ya tesa story no ba sisu bi maye.
Okay.
Answer na bigi aba.
Well, wait a very short one cry. Name say a 2 abawie yi. Amanfo bi ayira kakra. Na ebi musu di akwa akoda na ebi musu akwa akote. But opani ba ko a em say oyira ya na okote ye no. Ote ye na ante ama di asa ba bonti bi. Ni nyina say okate che free fa. Na owo Angel TV akra. They said here or the resignation letter akohwim ewo ABN Ghana say ontimi nto adwuma ne so. Em say story na manfo dinkan ate ho nkomo bebre.
Okay, me eho no so kata chefi fa be kana say na oye adwuma ma NPP
of course.
Because ne sema okeka nyina no na no bi ehu se no wo SYZ.
Yeah.
Ebe kana say na hoye NDC 4 station.
Of course.
Na odi akufo adomatem.
Yeah.
And ofri ho no ba ABN.
Yeah.
And oba be tene ya na odi
NDC 4
atem. NDC 4 opposition. Omuni abamu.
Yeah.
Akufo ado ne ba omia na wa abamu.
Of course.
Enema mess up. Okata chesi da bi. Onka hwenje omo.
Yeah.
Wo opposition no. Na o say do o matem.
Yeah.
And wa resign.
Wa resign.
Na there was today.
Na okatachie the resignation letter no. The reason ni say yen kan kakra bi.
Okay.
Na or say I am resigning as the morning show host of Angel Broadcasting Network effective immediately. This decision was made due to differences in interest between the management of the company and myself. I am grateful for the opportunity to serve ABN and the Ghanaian public. To my fans and family out there, I will share my next move soon.
Unim say after say you see afiwe mu no.
Yeah.
And I who Sadiq Obama say onu na hosti
morning show.
Angel FM one morning show no Accra.
Okay.
And I make say oh say I think say NDC about power dia. Say omo mo katachie betina ho na ase otuja emwa wo. Because now no afi na NDC for starting.
Yeah.
O start say utuja emfa
enko. Yeah. And when no cry no, true be told, utie na asem ya okay. Differences in interest between on management. Na che say ade bi ho a o twekwa ha, ma management nso otwe kwa ha oni management na dwen enko benkrom de ono pese oye no enye no na management nso expect from him
and as radio station e kwaku oten dia kwaku oten nso ajapade ne hyem so o man dey
on be born form on be say yi ne ba na firim ampa ne ba no politics no anye ne de biem ama wanko biem ne ba na firim NPP party ye ka ne ba ne nka ho biem Francis 14 ama kwaku tin anka se be ka ne se obehwa se de na ne nwuma no promo ne wosoro dede ne wabonten no they say eni abonti bebre sa
na wo te wo se wo sen tai MPP fo achi obi a wo mu gu na dwuma wo so santa wo machi a that means wo pese kwaku ote na dwuma sei enti ono so beka to se da bi NDC aba ti nyafe na wo ko atake NDC fo na omudo o mani bre abasue kwaku ote so ti kache sisa wonsa no
kache na so nsa no o se ontimi ena mpanifo se obrate sapa obo animu na anya oda sa da na ekire but o se on na na ekire dem say o se enche the next move no be so bare bia na untumi media nso so ko hene ba ko holidays no mai nti ebia
je bia no ko take over e o untumi
ebia
baro be break over obebre
say ne obe
4 years die ape na be start adwuma yi
mfie 9
oni mbra captain smart ma bre
no ma bre pa
ana we 4 years no nya de ze NPP kwa betumi asamba power nti uko 8 years o adwuma na di
no ka sanya de o mo be set ma ba ze NPP fo no so na wonya adwen omo hunu se nse NPP fo ni bi se omo kwa akiri akwahye omo niema yie omo mistakes ni omo kosua but de o kan obi so no be ya adwen se NPP beba power bi ni nyina gyina ndisi so oh no correct se NPP beba power ni nyina gyina ndisi adwuma o be so
aro de nhwe abigi tenase na yenko yes abigi J is a content we dey abigi dia do the emfama no na onka ho asem ye dey ka ho asem enye yie ti quick one abigi atenase a amema na kwa ba abigi na bokore
ina ma nyame adumi ho de papa
ense bebre na ekoso ense after say President of Ghana John Dramani Mahama His Excellency otena konwa no so wiye no ense wa start e hyehyia amanfo edidi nkomo ena afi NPP for no so nsem bebre fo ba quick one meni ba bi American fa
sina mama mencha afo na me nko former president Mahama Sheikh former president Mahama Sheikh former president Mahama Sheikh
for the last time
fachem me say what about president and me on fachem because my here Mahama wa Obahame o ti say onya fachem ababa ni sa because my been economy
one bibiana
David my been economy esa o ma
na wo ba be friend former president
unim tie ma ti so be economy na ma dwuma yem de
sao
and not tina ma I mania diabroso because economy nti
sao
and ya nyam da bia ni break
okay answer we share World Bank o say economy na ya de kan o person wo share
pass wo so wa share there
I World Bank
why World Bank okay I mean you said we
kasa
2016 ya to abama MPP aban na do no nkofo omo ban Ghana fo nyina ye bo machi tadum ye ko di o machi
okay so what say ye ta wo machi
ye ko ta o machi say economy be yi enti Mahama aba ye nyina so wo say ta Mahama chi
okay
because enta say you mu ye NDC fo I think in 2016 man ka say we mu the MPP for 9 days Ghana fo ne kwata enti Mahama aba ye nyina e beta Mahama chi
okay me tutwi na si ya oba che say 2016 no Akufo-Addo ebaye no ye nyina ye de ye mpaebo ne ye bibia eta Akufo-Addo achi
yes
but edu time bia na all misbehave no na ye dwa no edise mama ba ye beta na chi
ye beta Mahama chi
okay
because Mahama onye Ghana for anti nanado mo person ene sa de ni sia wo adwenti na Mahama ba ye nyina so mfa ye mpaebo talent
okay
na se sa ebisate se we mu ye ndisi fo we mu wan kata me ye Ghana ni no kura da ha ye beka se ade no wasta na woni economy nti ena Ghana for ya hawo nyina ya economy
sa
economy ya hawo nyina ya economy ena ye kofa ya na mobile aye ya fre economy master ona mbari akukoti no musakoye nti Mahama aba no ka kire se onani wo economy so a ye talent
ye betanati
wo se ye talent ni e bomba e da bia ma bomba ya Mahama
sa
opa sim court opa komba bia ma bomba ya ma no because economy nti me am te hono economy ko ya maduma ba so okay mercy cement board so ba fo okay ai okoto gaali sisi na ne board ababa fo okoto mo ababa fo nti economy na wose ya Muhammad kawe wose metality okay go economy ba me koto cement wa ba ga yesen sisi 1.2 na ba 50 manage woni beje obi be fa maduma ye aduane bo nso ba fo aduane ba fo ya ho nyina economy ne kosoro ade aduane because cash ke be kosoro okofa ba fia obati se cash ke nyina ade aka ho nti mama aduane bo aye de sisi aduane bo nti sai na mai nyina ekoyia menua yenya ye ho ntoy e ho betoy ade nti ye nta na chi ni mbom pa ya man se nyame mada kuma pano ntime mbo oman na oman ko ne yesa ye yimu enti wudi party bia chi ade na wonya asemo economy ni tiatia ande obi se obeye ni ye mbom pa ntan ye kanka Ghana so fufana nkasa ye nyato ade Muhammad ye oba ye se oye yata omumfi no kufado omu se oye asorobofo ene ye ne kufado de oye asorobofo onde ofiri nyame ene ye ne se baby economy atiti apansa kodu yakoda so ya se yade akobi be ya friend ba ya akobi ya friend ba nya yade ne ba ene ne o friend ba o mi akobi na onya akobi se onya obi o antum for place ndi na chibiam se onya obi ya normal person mission ko met ma bonus won't me nya me hwe onya obi abiem se first no president vice president and former vice president onya obi abiem sisie nti Ghana economy na Mahama ba o se obeye ni yie Obama Ghana fo akuya fo kura ho atoy Obama adwuma ya fo ho atoy Obama bibia ko kama Argentina mentality na maye be sam soletian obi aba soletian bi o be fu o say obi aba soletian Muhammad bi o be fu because on pe Ghana yi se o wada ne undumi ana Debi aye no kura na Mecca Baro se yesi dum so no se ba o what won asem e wo ha na asem ba ya munja sa de na mo na so America no me si yesi na wonim se dum so wo ho sentina me si o mo se wonim se dum so wo ho mi de minim e wo ha nka se o mo se de wo hu ye e wo ho yin ka me na do na ban se dum so mo nsi se hwe wo yesa me bi bafu na me ma re ka wonim se dum so wo na amanfo se da bi unim se light unya light munna minim na ntina akase amanfo se mimi chese amanfo se se da bi yima dum so kase dum so ho minbia enka dum so ho kase dum so ho enka se dum so yesi be dizama ye abro ne bayenti na nano se Ghana fo muntie ye me ko ka muntie se na nano ye bonsam Ghana o mo se mama na dum so when say Nanadu ya second man Ghana. Nanadu you wicked mind. Are. Yeah. The Zema Blanca Ombasi Nanadu said there be Ghana. Mamma ko say yes Ghana for Babo Machipa said him so. I know came out here from Muhammad Sisu. Nian said Bonnet said him so Mahama. Nanadu you wicked. Ha, ya kanuka Monsieur Obia Bakasana Muhammad did him so when you mean Chaka. Ah, what you say? Obi abakase Mahama ne di dum so banyame tuaka. Because dem Mama Obadabe. O sisi da bay. Oba enche. Hwe ono kwa so person na ni kodum so. Papa de ka asem no. O se o be solen. O sisi dum so kakra bi. Okre. Na mi nsa bro ne bi. Anti nana no mo ba o matima nja dum so hwe. Sa. Dabi nana tu no mo so dum so sa. Me sikai ya abane did light for car. Hey, this ya ton Ghana o. Light for the home. Dunya ya man dum so for. Light o mo di o mo car. Anya kakatwa. You me tisa. Abane di dum so for car. Me kan kre na kire. Dum so for. Na abane di na de ka ba abane di home car. Si anya be kire mu yi. Me tiu. Anya Mahama abane. Na do abane. Okay, Nanado abide the Hamuka. Dum so muka. O mamu dum so the dum so no. O mo Nanado mo de o muka. But who the bagger schema by 23 yon. ECG. Na say see obi am ka dum so obi am say pressure. Dum so. Aye see o de o muka o the bagger schema the master. metiri kwa kan hu ano
and your companies bi are no supply near my bits gas Nigeria for say is it the omo kanchi no
na wo de ne ka won fa de ne nka sinema kanokro seme wotomo na mabatomo bag by 20 seme konoa na de acha ma fa sika mana masaba na wasama 20 na de acha masaba na wasama 20 de to for ba mami antenye anye Muhammad di so nanado asubo subo ye babo bia mfa ye mbo nanado na ban tiriso because o man akwa ade hon ye babo ai running mate ya friend say
minim napo
akwa napo o se chi napo tum NPP aba wo se si o mo court because nanado say wa so with me so nanado so wo ye bibia wo dum so ho nanado adeti na o ti mo de sa
Kota Dabi kota umwana. Andi nkano wasembio. Nipa yakwa akotene fie so na oda so.
Dabi na sisi unyala yake muda.
Dabi.
Unyala yake mwana wa nsefie ma ya frama Mahama. Aye fesa ya kazi Mahama ne ajisi ya adum so sisi ya hwanya. Ye kanu kre kanka. Aya na yem yo tinya ma ye kana fo ho ye suro nyame. Se ye suro nyame kan be kanu kre se na na adwa ma adum soko. Ese stem ko fo se Mahama. Mahama se nyeke eye nanado apan chamo tumi mo o se ye dum sesi we ye dum sesi
sa
we ye dum sesi
so that time they na dum sesi but this time they dum so
na wo dim yes plan nanado fine se kana wo se December mu omo twelight ye asiesie ni nyina wo Ghana
okay
ena nanado fro omo office se ni nuanum me pese me jadi mpaso ti mamu ndum light no mutwen me solisa wo de mu pa mu kwandem no na me ne yen kase me peso ye dadum so no
e
plan work nti na nadu we magana fo mutiebie mentana nadu ni subai na metano na nadu mentano ni subai wan kase department na se plan sa ni aye let's go odili ho na nadu enyem mo o ka kire Ghana fo se wa bra konyanso nti oba mafia ene wa mafia
asemu
odi dim soko
jinya Mahama na dia ba
dabi
sawo
na are o nti wudi dia onum
ene wo be kwa Mahama pa o
enye Mahama abene se Mahama why ne se December na Mahama to kana fanka say ye entire say the whole we are seeing ya na ya adwene so nti na December na Mahama de otra so adi say any for the simple
how ka dum so no baran uze yenyo kitwa bi Ablekuma North Electoral Commission for no misbehavior omunyanya enti
said intra na omo
isi for no
maame na nkasa na wacha akwanya no wambo wache
are
ninema wo ye
am officer ba kokra be ka se uso mu kwa recollation officer no boss nyo no na tro figures na bi o ma twoje bi NPP nya se ndisi nya se no de o ma two ho no nyo no na tro ye wan tro sa nese easy for na bubi agum
nese se maame na atwra ma MP
minim se ma
odo mo fama mo fa Ablekuma na mo fama ndisi for MPP for na mo de mo kwase mo de ma mo fa 5 nkra kan MPP for akase omo ya ye gbasi atom hwe MPP se say ndisi kuta 183 MPP kuta say hwe enema bi o ha maame we me say so wa hwe ye ni mabanya so twe that okay ade a deserve obi no fama no enko chinchim fama obi nipa na watiro de asanyo na atwira ye onim de watwa aye chinchina wo chinchim anasika na onya pia sika no ka
asemu
anti esa
baran Afenyo Markin so the some micro minority na wo mu frɛ NPP fo no wo mu nyai wo mu ye minority NDC majority some micro no wo mu nyai
sinama me say amena na o matu ato o manim no ana o ma akotom
asemu
ante enye ye Ghana fo hwatie ye won ye ka asam kira ma momfa na munum se sika na mo won mutimi di sika koto nipa se entu abama mo na mo betwa to Ghana fo nyina Ghana fo kasa muntie hwe animguase tom wo ye wo beka se wo mpa microphone ma yamfa de ho honest enu microphone microphone na ye befrem
micro minority
yamfa man no to be aye microphone na ye befrem opa ofrim tie MPP ye ka o muntie ase anima bi wo ha yen kwala na ye wo fom ye wonim de chemu kom nyame adum na ade wa koduru ho ka wonya obia eso ye ka mo se da bi ye
o say gaga yo
o sa ka se basa me se NPP wo ebi sita ono no preso o man ya 39% ade na abansa hwe MPC ma luso mo home asante regi hwe MPP ama mo home asante ndisi abum basa hwe dia manya o kasa o pamunja parliament se MPP for pa o free parliament
abigi say
MPP for o free parliament
abigi say
MPP for pa me say o free parliament oh na say ya mu aman na o mo yesa kiti ya cha ndis mumienu a na ya o modiafa ya cha ndis abikwa sa daso
ndu so munya dey
o mo mbra o ho ase no mo ko down na bia nyesa cinema o mbakọ by 40 years no mo mba power say o man mbra mo ho ase o mbakọ by 40 years no mo mba power
za
me ka me bia say nsem bi wo ha ya ka ya o mo ntiase go mo ti o to o kasa se o ye bem ho nya bem bia ye ne ade wa duru ho ntinka ye adwene na ye sefa no wamfa na we ho se kokotura ene mo ne
Afenyo Markin
I know ne
we say obey we 4 years o so ne jina e ma bibia to yi o
one is 4 years
na say
8 years obey say ya 8 years na another 4 years so man hu nyans on omo 89 years 84 84 no kura ba sate Ora pama omunya hantan for Ghana for your 5 years do ade
somewhere 88
one and your baba 44 yen sa to next abano so omunya hantan sa Ghana for your jira hantan yen ade oduru ha na wo mbu Ghana for o kasa
say pa do so mo from say because some micro no enim mra mu say sa ne mfam frɛ wo mo
I was say sa and I was say nimram
na omram
na wonim say nimram say me boss mfam kwachim ade na wo mram Bible class only about some for Bible can.
Oh, when you say,
Bible says, and Niamra. And to one enemy, and one Bibia, I owe Mram. So would the original parliament at Casarov. And when so we no original parliament, I was so come out of Bian and Fabufu. And to me a microphone. I owe me my majority Bia.
Young co or Catachona, you
why reside? Why reside? Why are the pa? Unyang on find this for Neshe. Afenyo 2 minutes. Me say Mahama so what o mama sorry tian bi o anjo ma. Ye fan cheneta.
Are wan sorry tian.
Kofo bebre. Na ma wa cha won to me. Akwana o so ye ayi. O ye lawyer na wa bon. Lawyer ampafo. Ana ba ko de wadan. No ba ano no kofo bebre o mo sorry tian Mahama. O say wo was here chenitum. Abna resign adwane ko. Enti enema bi ba ye kasa kire NPP fo no monti ase. Munnim fom che ye. Unim ba bia ebete obi beti ba wura wo sika na beti ma ria yo. Unim ba bia. Ye say ye ka kire mo say ye cha Ghana fo mu miensa. Amu mienu ebeto abatia mo. Awo NPP fo nkasa. Amu ba ko bechem half. No ma sa to ama party eka. Ye kasa na mu sara ma no go sika munya e bo mutiri mu dam mu kasa mu ntobu ase na mu ye nema won se dia mo ni mu ase munya abibu ma mu ye sa de munya badwane wo Ghana
ese o katachi na ye yi na dinti wo de se ono na ana wo se na from mu nyina
na on kan ensem bebre wo ha no wo kan yechi
za
na nye baby wo ka wa bo wa duyi wo kekan ya ensem ani kwa semeka sembi wo ha wo your friends are catching. Was some cow?
I could change my nino. No.
So I know at your unity. And no. I shall who say TV station, radio station. So be a MPP Baba, NDC Baba. So we cannot know yet, money cut down. Because all the TV station NDC about or NDC about over end. Who did not NDC for on by over there? And the black media yet tell Biachi. Yagina fifi udi ya ebekamo udi nya ya bekam ati outside ye yenta party biachi to wose nsancho foni bi ha munhia bibi emfrim
okay abigi je na yetin kan high bright time dia ko ebesa ba biem yakrai fo nyina